What's going on, everybody? Godzilla Options here with your market outlook and weekly setups going in the week of February 27th, 2023. As usual, we're going to look at the economic calendar for the coming week, and we're going to be checking out what the indexes look like and maybe make some predictions. And then we're going to get into the setups that we're actually going to be keeping an eye on in our Discord this week. So let's get to it. All right, looking at the economic calendar for the week to come, that's going to be the whole week. So February 27th all the way through the beginning of March. The calendar is actually pretty light. But we have Monday, durable goods, pending home sales, nothing really that should make the market go crazy. Same with Tuesday. Red Book is going to be year over year. We saw this last week for month over month, and nothing really changed there. So I'm not too concerned with Tuesday either. And then if we move down to Wednesday, the PMI for manufacturing is coming out again. Nothing that really should move the markets there. You might see things maybe kind of dip in a hair or up a hair, but nothing crazy. Tuesday is probably the day that will move the markets in the morning, just because we once again have initial job claims coming out at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. And then that is pretty much about it for the rest of the week. Again, Friday, nothing. Bostic is talking at 11:45. He talked this past week at like 10:50 on Friday, and the market didn't move at all. So I'm not overly worried about anything on the economic calendar there, besides what we see on Tuesday, March 2nd, at the beginning of the day, with continuous jobless claims. And it looks like the forecast is 193K. The consensus is 197. So they're expecting that the forecast, the actual outcome, is going to be lower than the consensus. So that would be something to know about. All right, we'll start out by looking at SPY. Here we have the monthly. We are solidly in that failed 2 down now. This red bar that goes through the bar here of January is the 50% mark, the 50% fib for the inside bar that was January. So we have the failed 2 up, 1, and now we have another failed 2 up approaching the 50% fib. I do expect the 50% fib here on the month to act as a level of support. And if we end up dropping through that, which when we go take a look at the weekly here, I expect a further drop. So here is that 50% fib for the month right there. And we got down to that area and started testing it. Now, if you recall, like 2 weeks ago, before we had this 2 down continuation set up here, we were in the 1. I did mention that we were in a pivot machine gun setup here. We had 5 or more consecutive higher lows in a row, and that is a setup to where we just start taking out to the downside. There'll be downside move, and we start taking out stops. So anybody that had a stop here for a move further up got taken out. Anybody that had a stop here for a further move taken up got taken out. And we haven't exactly made it as low as this candle yet, as 393.56 versus 393.64, but it's damn close. So that is the weekly low that we got to. So again, we're sitting in 2 down continuation mode. We are in a broadening formation, just kind of ranging at this point, going sideways. I'd probably be looking at us to be moving on down a little lower here, probably down to the 380 area, before we hopefully get some support, some move to the upside. But that is SPY on the weekly. A lot of the same story with QQQ. Technology had some pretty decent earnings actually this last week, NVDA being the top of the heap there, but we are in a hammer, a shooter candle. Right now it's a failed 2 up. We tried to get above the quarterly high that was established last quarter. That was the quarterly high down in December here. Got above it, but promptly came back below it this current month. And if we move down to the week here, we'll be able to see exactly what happened. So we, much like SPY, kind of peaked up here, and then we had one bar, except we had another one bar here, a doji undecided kind of candle. You can't really tell which way it was going to go in the open and close are pretty much where they were at the beginning of the week. So and we had that pivot machine gun setup that we had on SPY as well. So what we were again looking for is to get stop losses taken out. So here was a stop loss, there was a stop loss, there's a stop loss. So 5 or more consecutive ones, keep that in mind. So we got right down to this guy, the stop loss, or the lower wick of the last January candle, so 130 there. For the week, and the low there was 289.89. We got right down to it with the weekly low being 290.05. So found some support there, but again, barring some crazy thing happening with some more earnings that are gonna make tech move like crazy, I'm still looking at a downside move. Probably going to be approaching this 266 area, hopefully not, but a lot of fair value gaps to fill here. A big one actually, fair value gap to fill there too. So here is the monthly fib, 279.34, the monthly 50% fib, and that would be our first area that I'd be looking at for support. Much the same story with IWM, failed to up shooter right now on the monthly, pretty far off from that 50% fib though, sitting around 181.73. If we move to the weekly, we had some inside bars in a row here, so 2-1, and then we finally got our 2 down to start taking out the stop losses here. So first one taken out is 188.53, next one taken out is 163.83, and now we're going to start approaching 183.87 with a further downside move. The first 50% weekly fib or monthly fib is going to be 181.73. So that's where I'm going to start looking for support, a drop through that, and we're probably going to be moving down a little further. Now this is the last trading week of the month for February, so I don't believe that we're going to be seeing an outside month on anything I've talked about, because of the fact that that's just a massive move. Got to get all the way down to 172 from our 187 area in a week. So I don't project that happening, but I mean, if it does, we're in some deep shit. Last but not least, DIA, make this quick. It has gone outside month. It rejected literally like a penny above the previous month's high, and we have gone outside month. So sadly, we're sitting pretty low here. The next price target for that is actually going to be right below the currently weekly low at 325.65. So that is the monthly target, and now the week, as we can see, a lot of consolidation like we talked about, just kind of indecision. Well, decision was finally made this past week. We broke below the previous month's 50% fib at around the 335.79 area, promptly rejected that, and then just continued to drop below the monthly low, the previous monthly low of 328.01. So we took out anybody that was sitting here with some pretty comfortable stop losses around this area at the week of 123. So those guys are gone. And then we took out any of those stop losses sitting at 329.38. And then we took out a lot of stop losses, y'all. The monthly low, like anybody that bought the previous month's low right around there, took those out too. So note that this broadening formation here, this yellow bar, was connected to these two. So the 1226, the week of 1226, and the week of 1-2, and we pretty much went right down to that to pretty much a T. I mean, I don't know if you can project that any more closer than that, but that was definitely a area of support. So the 326.43 area there. So at this point, what are we looking at? Well, there was definitely some support here. So I think that we might actually end up seeing DIA get a little support and potentially just kind of come back up to that 50% fib area this coming week. That's just a thought. Why? Well, I do think this ended up being an order block that we went through here, and that is something that is very interesting. So, but then again, DIA does kind of move with the rest of the market. So if SPY and QQQ are going to be dropping, I don't think you're going to see DIA diverging from that either. So that's definitely something that I'll be keeping an eye on, because I do like to trade like Bank of America and some other Dow stocks. All right, let's take a look at what the StratBot spit out for this coming week. Here are the weekly setups that are definitely of interest to us. So to start it off, we got a PMG to downside. D-King has been on a tear to the upside lately. So it is officially in PMG status mode, meaning that we're looking at something to take out a lot of those previous day lows on the way down very quickly, right? Those are the lows, or right below the lows, are where a lot of people that get in at a certain point are going to probably have their stop losses. So at that point, it just kind of becomes like a snowball effect as it drops through those stop losses. At least that's what we want to see with a PMG. We got some 3-1s, so 1 bars are inside days. They're consolidation. That means there really wasn't a direction picked, so they're usually pretty explosive when they come out of that consolidation mode. So we have Tesla, Roblox, and UPST as the 3. UPST with that shooter candle, so I would be probably looking at UPST as a 3-1-2 down move there. So next we got the ref strat, 1-2 down. You're looking for a 2 up reversal at this point, and your target would be the top of that bar before the 1 bar, or you could do the 1 bar, either way. But what we would really be looking at here is something that had some hammer candle formation, which I don't see. So I'm not liking any of these setups personally, but you got FTX, MGM. That would be a 2 down continuation if it, that shooter candle, was a preemptive, tick to a 2 down. And then we got AL, eBay, IWM, XLF, XOM. So you got XLF with the finance there. That's definitely an interesting one. So if you are playing banks like BAC or WFC or JPM or C, be on the lookout there for another 2 down, to be honest. We have our failed 2 downs. I mean, these took out the previous day's low and ended up green on the day. AMD somehow ended up with that shooter candle, though. So not liking the failed 2 down mode. Then we got our outside bar up with NVDA and UAL. NVIDIA had monster earnings. Then you also have UAL there. So those are the outside bar ups. The outside bar down, the opposite side of things, Walmart. Walmart actually had good earnings but bad guidance, so they, I guess, decided to beat the crap out of Walmart and move it down. Look for the range expansion there on the downside, so a 3-2 down. That's what I'd be looking for on Walmart there, so we can kind of, get some range expansion. All right, then we got our 2 down continuations. These things just have kind of been sad for a while. Meta, Amazon, BAC, Disney, Lucid, SPY, list goes on. The fact is that right now, I think there's a lot of confusion in the economy. When we start looking at the charts, you'll see that the drops that are happening, I think, are really related to the fact that just economic data isn't in sync, and I think that's kind of the problem here. While we're seeing a lot of the downside moves here, so. And then, PMG to the upside, PFE, 1-2 up with the PG, the shooter candle. So you're looking at that 2 down. This would be a prime rev strat setup there, PG to the downside. So you're looking for a 1. It's already in a 1-2 up. You're looking for the 2 down. So with that shooter candle, that really gives me some life there. I like that idea for next week. And that's definitely one that I'll be charting on my watch list. And then we have our 1-2 up with KO and Cisco. So those are the tickers that we like to watch in the Discord. There is a free link to join down in the description, so make sure you join. And we're teaching the strat as well as just price action in general. So hope to see you there. All right, so I'm looking at D-King this coming week here. Why? Well, let's get a taste of what we have on the month first. So the monthly is a 2 up. We went 2-1-2 up. That was a pretty solid move to the upside. They had some better than expected earnings, so hence the move up. Now I think nostalgia has kind of been wearing off because we've had quite the retrace this past week in particular here. So what I also would like to point out is what we have here is a double top. It double top from 213, a peak out at 815 as well. And then we kind of went through there, but clearly there's money sitting up here that does not want to see things go any higher right now. So we got a prompt move down at the pretty random level of 2162. So I do think that we're going to see a compound 3 at this point. So there's a failed 2 up. I think our next candle is going to be a 2 down. So what I'm going to do, my entry would be below the previous weekly low of 1797, and my price target is going to be 1569 for D-King here, just to be able to see that compound 3, so a 2 up, 2 down, a failed 2 up, 2 down, and at that point, if we don't continue to drop, right down here is the monthly fib of 1311. If I go back to the month and take a look, that was pretty much the range level, right? Like we're sitting here in the accumulation phase before we start hopefully moving back up. And at that point, if we come all the way back down here, we're just right back in that same area, so it's just not ready to pop up yet. That's what that tells me, and I think we're going to see more consolidation. So again, I'm looking at a further move down here, and that is going to be my D-King plan.
My fib line from, I would say, from here to here on the chart, and if you look, make this bigger for you guys, you can see this is how you can play it. Anytime it's above the 50% mark on the week, over 275, you can look to get calls and try to target 202, 205, and 209. If it breaks 209, look to find your next target up here, which is about 217.65. Now, if we get below the 50% mark at 200.75, I would look for puts and try to target 198.63, 195.62, and then if it breaks below 191.78 for the week, I would look to target this 3-bar low at 187.61, and that's how I would play Tesla for the week. Alright, so next up on our weekly watch is going to be NVDA. Let's start off on the month. NVDA has been on a nice, strong run after this 2 down all the way up to this 232 level. It's still a 2-2 bullish continuation. 2 months of green. Chalk and money flow is positive. MACD is still up, curling, so that's a good sign for NVIDIA. On the week, we made an outside week here on NVIDIA above the 8 EMA trend line, which is positive. The chalk and money flow is above our 0 line, going up, which is good. MACD also curling up above the 0 line, which is good as well. It had a red week last week and made a nice green week this week. Let's see how we can play this one. It's a big range for this. I would say you have a high of 238 and a low of 204. So if you wait for the break of the high and the low, you might be waiting for quite some time. So the way I would play it is just draw your fibs again, right from here to there. And if you notice, the same thing as Tesla, anytime it's above the 50% mark, 221.55, you target calls and push up to 225.64, then 230.70, and finally 238.88. If it breaks that and goes 3-2 to the upside, your next target would actually be way up here, which is 275. So I don't think it's going to get there in 1 week, but this is why I would play it based upon the fibs. If you want to get puts, get your under the 50% mark and puts under 221.55, targeting 217.45 to 11.63, and then finally 204.21. If you notice, is 204.21 lines right up with this other 3-bar down here back in May. And if it breaks below that, you have a nice big drop to the bottom of that 3, which lines up with this other 1.618 fib line at 182.78. So this is how I would play NVIDIA for the week.
That's going to wrap up this edition of the Weekly Watch. Make sure you join our free trading Discord with the link in the description field to get intraday strat setups with our custom bots. Also remember to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and click that bell to get notified when we drop another video. Happy trading!